listening to Flush Your Fat for Good with Jackie and Dr. Vicky, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hi, and thanks for joining us. My name is Jackie Paget-Baird.
And I'm Dr. Vicky Arcady.
And we're the creators of Flush Your Fat for Good, Be Lean and Healthy for Life. Just a reminder, this is a lifestyle for a lifetime. This is not a diet. This is not a 30, 60-day, 90-day, maybe I'll just do it for 9 months.
For a short period of time.
I've got my kids getting married in January. I'm just going to do it till then.
I'll shrink myself, and then I'll go back to doing what I used to do.
And then I have to get into that one suit that's still hanging in my closet or whatever. Or I'm going on vacation in a couple of months. I'm going to have to make it to where I can fit in those clothes. That's not what this is. This is health by design, not by default. Big difference. Default are those little gimmicks and tricks and shortcuts, but health by design means how your body was created. So through biochemistry and physiology, how you're to feed yourself according to that makes all the difference in the world. And when people say, well, yeah, but I don't know, I'm a foodie, I love food.
Perfect.
Yep.
We say perfect.
What do they always say? I can't eat so much. I can't eat all this.
Yeah, we say don't skip a meal and, make sure you eat. Keep the blood sugar.
Yeah, it's a thing of beauty. When you get when you get to eat as much as you want. You don't overeat, you don't undereat.
Yeah.
So anybody that really wants to know what this is about, that's what we're going to do on this show today. But we have a private Facebook page where all of our members, we call buddies, from time to time, they just show their happiness. They ask questions. We have over 100 coaches answering questions, and they're there for support.
From around the world, I might add.
5 countries?
Yeah.
Oh, I just went like this. 5 countries. Sorry. It's been a long day. But
foreshadowing. We will have 10 countries.
I love that. There's 2, who was it? Somebody said it's 3 words, and they said 2. Anyway, I digress. The Facebook page, the members are called buddies. We call them Flush Your Fat for Good or FYF4GOOD buddies because we all support each other. It's a community of caring.
And we recommend you get a buddy, a partner to do this with.
It's
so much more fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's effective.
Effective.
Because you're keeping each other in check and educated. That's what it's about.
Right.
And you can eat together, which is a good thing. But they
don't have to be geographically in your same house.
No.
They can be across the country, and you still check in with them every day.
And you can still be eating at the same time.
Exactly.
You're in Florida. I'm in LA.
Yeah.
Let's eat.
Let's eat.
Okay. So, but many of them love to show their before and after. So we're going to just show you 5 pictures of the latest and the greatest that just came up. And we have, as you can see, there's men. There's
really?
Yes, we have men that do this.
Eat too?
And we have young women, and we have young girls, and we have older ladies, and then we have the real young girls that are trying to get their life together. Millennials, yeah.
Which we are really getting interest from. They love this.
A lot, because they're really looking at their life and that they want to get their body in shape to get married and have a child.
And they're overweight, many of them, and they're not feeling good.
And they've tried a gazillion different little things that just don't work, and they do lose all the weight, and then they gain it back and then some.
Right.
So, Flush Your Fat for Good is something like you've never seen before. We have a website called FlushYourFatForGood.com. It's the number 4. And when you go onto that website, you can learn a lot about it. The best thing to do is go to the storefront and become a VIP member. You'll see that in membership, mainly because we have over 23 videos that show us cooking in the kitchen, some of the staples that we
recommend.
Recommend or demand.
Well, they help you take that fat off rapidly.
Yeah.
So
these are foods that were designed for safe, rapid fat loss, and you can eat as much as you want. Also, we show you how to cook it, And then we also are being interviewed by Kathleen Powell, who is one of our co-writers in our book, that also lost 100 pounds along with her sister, Coach Jennifer. And she sat down with us and interviewed us for just about everything. You know, how did this start? What was the philosophy? What's the, what's the history of all of us? You know, both of us.
Explaining different pillars, you know.
We've been together, Dr. Vicki and I have been together for over 33 years. And I started out as her patient, and then it graduated to where I started working with her and becoming her assistant.
Right.
And then we started doing some very special projects together and studies.
Businesses.
And then little by little, it led to us with Flush Your Fat for Good, because this divinely came, it was divine intervention, we say, because it literally was divine intervention. And I was in a place in my life that all of a sudden, and it's talked about in the book, so I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but you should get the book off Amazon.com, because it's not like, sometimes I call it a textbook. It's not a textbook.
No, it's not boring like textbooks.
Yeah, it's not like...
It's fun to read.
And there's stories, and there's
Yeah.
reasons how it came about, why it came about, also how we dive into the mental concept, like paradigms, and your self-esteem, your confidence, and what happens when you want to lose the weight but you don't think you can, so you psychically sabotage yourself. But also some of the old paradigms that you can't get rid of. I was talking to someone the other day saying that they were eating we require nuts,
And
any
seeds.
kind of nuts and seeds, but you do have to soak them properly, and we want them to be put like a handful into some goat yogurt. And some people go, oh, that sounds great. Some people go, ugh. But you know what? It takes 10 days to reprogram a taste bud, and once you start eating it on a regular basis, if it's difficult, we have tricks in the book on showing you how to, get more and more to the point where your body craves it, because it's amazing for your intestinal tract and for fat loss. But the nuts have to be soaked overnight a certain way, and you'll learn about that in the workbook that we have on our website and also in this book.
And we also did a podcast about this, and we also have a YouTube channel, YouTube/Flush Your Fat for Good, and we have pretty much all our podcasts on there.
Yeah, and
subscribe if you
So
want.
this gentleman that I was helping, he said, God, I don't know, man, I'm eating a lot of these pine nuts and I just love them, but I know they're rich in fat. I know they have a lot of fat. And is that bad? Is that bad what I'm doing? And I said, why? He says, because there's so much fat in these nuts. I said, well, every protein is accompanied by fat, and they're perfectly found in nature with the fat. So I'm not hurting myself. I said, no, you're helping yourself, because if you're craving them and you want them, after a while you're going to not want so much. You do have to be careful with pine nuts, because they'll put a metal taste in your mouth for 10 days. But
if you overeat them.
Yeah, which
most people can't, because they're rich. They're very nutrient dense.
Of course, that didn't stop me.
And they also have the good fats in there, so it's not like you're eating bad fats.
Exactly.
They're really good, beneficial fats in there.
But eating a handful of nuts, or once you soak them and you have them in a little Ziploc bag, like I like the walnuts, pecans, what's another nut? What do you do?
What in my?
Oh, you do the macadamia.
I do macadamias.
Yeah.
Oh man, those are good. And almonds. I get the almonds from online. I buy them online. You have to get them organic, and from the ones I get are from Spain, because here, pretty much in the States, especially California, which is a big supplier of almonds, they pasteurize them. Either they gas them or they steam them or something. So you're gonna you're not going to get the nutrition out of them, you know.
Well, they're like a dead food.
Yeah, it's like
And
dead,
that's not what you
so,
want, because
no.
when you're soaking the nuts overnight, like with a tablespoon of pink Himalayan salt, and then you rinse them off, you'll see all the phytates that are being taken off.
It's horrible, the stuff that comes off.
It's gross.
It's gross.
Yeah.
It's dirty, like you washed your car. That's the kind of water it looks like.
Yeah, and you
It looks,
stepped,
you know,
and
the greasy, grimy.
and you cleaned everybody's
It's
feet in the neighborhood.
It's grimy. It's black, grimy,
Yeah.
dirty
It's not
water.
black, it's like a brown.
It's
mud.
brownish.
Well, it's
charcoal.
gross, okay?
Yeah, it's
but the
gross.
bottom line is, once you perform that properly and you dry them off and you put them in the oven a certain way, and you're not roasting them, you're not cooking them, you're just drying them.
You're getting gentle sunlight, sun heat on them, like the sun would do.
Right, and that helps to sprout
That helps them to turn them on alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and it makes them taste sweet.
Oh, they're so good. Too.
So, it's okay if you're eating them, and if you find yourself you think you're eating too much, if you don't feel as though you want any more to eat, this is how Flush Your Fat for Good trains the brain.
Right.
If you have overdone it, you go, God, I just don't want to eat those anymore for now.
That I'm full.
Yeah, you're full, which they're supposed to do, and they keep your blood sugar level, and you're getting your protein and your omega-3s. Then your brain is saying, okay, good job. I've had enough of that nutrition. I'm going to make sure you don't like the taste of them right now, or you don't want any more. In other words, your satiety center is going to trigger your brain to say,
it clicks
you've had
on.
enough. The
Clicks
problem
on.
is with people that are eating, like this one gentleman I was talking with, he was saying, my big problem was, before I started Flush Your Fat, at nighttime, I just was craving. I didn't know what I was craving, so I would grab crackers,
Grazing.
and
Called grazing.
yeah, and just keep eating them and eating them and eating them. And goes, I would just get bloated and I wouldn't feel good, and then I'd wake up in the mornings hungry in a certain way that just wasn't right. And you can get an amino acid from a tobacco leaf, but we don't recommend you eat tobacco leaves. But what's happening with our kids that are extremely obese, which is now an epidemic, obesity in our children, they're eating like potato chips and crackers and Cheetos and all different kinds of things, just grazing on these and keep shoving it in their
calories.
mouth. They're not only getting empty calories, they're not getting what they want, and their bodies are trying to eat this food to see if they can get some vitamins and minerals.
Right.
And they don't ever get it, so then they're still hungry all the time. And what are they doing? They're spiking up their blood sugar, and they're putting tremendous amount of fat on their body. So the foods that you eat in Flush Your Fat for Good, we don't overeat, we don't undereat, and we eat a certain way.
Right.
Because we're into food combining so that the body has the optimal ability to digest the food so that you can absorb the nutrients and then eliminate what your body doesn't need at that time, which should be 3 to 4 bowel movements a day. So I
know people out there are going, what?
Yeah, right? What are you talking about?
Well, it's in the medical textbooks. 3 to 4 BMs a day. It's supposed to be about average.
And once you
proper.
start with Flush Your Fat for Good, now most of the time, people that have eaten poorly, they've got at least 40 to 60 pounds on them and they want to get it off. In the very beginning, they start losing the fat and they're amazed because we don't recommend, part of the lifestyle blueprint is you have to eat 2 servings of fruit a day.
Right.
So with that in mind, not only with the fiber from the low glycemic fruit and vegetables, and the digestion that's taking place, they're amazed. In the beginning, how many bowel movements do you have? I have about 1 a day, and I'm thinking, about 1 a day? It's like, no, that's not good enough. We have to have 3 to 4. And they go, what? Who does that?
Yeah.
Everybody that digests and absorbs well. So then after about 5 to 6 days, we hear, oh my God, for the first time in my life, I went to the bathroom 3 times. How did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel? I feel amazing. I have
Yeah.
a tremendous of energy.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping better. I don't feel bloated. But then all of a sudden, from not everybody, but from some people, we hear, I'm not going to the bathroom like I was. And this is textbook, and we talk about it in our book, in the troubleshooting chapter, that you have toxins harbored in your fat cells. And when you start to lose safe, rapid fat loss, you start to lose your fat cells, you're breaking them up, and they're opening up like an onion, and inside are the toxins that are released, and that goes through your body to be filtered out. It's going to hit your liver. And what happens when you have toxins that'll congest the liver, right?
Right, and also fat.
And
You
fat.
get, you get another round, like you start dumping the fat, and then you're okay, and you're going to the bathroom, and you're doing really well. And then suddenly it's like slows down again, and that's because the fat is now you're going through the deeper levels of fat in the liver.
Right, and the liver's connected to the bowels.
Because there's something called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, that if you eat too much, if you're overweight, you don't really have to be overweight, but if you eat too much sugar and a lot of starches and complex carbohydrates and breads and things like that, and sodas and that kind of stuff, you will get what's called non-alcoholic fatty liver. It's as though you were drinking. It's the same fatty liver that an alcoholic gets, but you're not drinking. It's from the foods. So that as we start dumping initially, then you're doing really well, and then suddenly, maybe a month, 2 months later, it slows down, and you're like, oh boy,
I see it like 10 days later.
Yeah, you can see it anytime.
Like by the second week.
You might see it 2, 3, 4 times.
From time to time, because
Yeah,
you're
over the
still
space of
losing
time.
toxins and
Yes.
fat in your fat cells.
Right.
But
Interesting.
how you get over that is you continue to do what you're doing.
Right.
And with our blueprint, our lifestyle for a lifetime, we have it all written up in the workbook on how to do this.
And the book.
And the book, and and we're going to go through the book here in a minute, but we have you take your digestive enzymes before you eat your protein and carbohydrates, your non-starchy vegetables, and we have you, take more of your probiotics at nighttime before your head hits the pillow. And we have you continue with your cran flush for sure. Don't say, well, I had 2 bottles today. No, this is flush your fat for good. This is not slush your fat for good. So we don't want all these toxins slushing around in your body. We want to flush them out. It will take about another 4 days, 5 days, and voila, you'll be having better bowel movements right away.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Did
with
we show the pictures?
yeah,
Oh,
we did. Yeah.
okay.
Our handy.
Those are incredible pictures.
I know. Those are,
I mean, we are in the room, many times a day. You'll see us in the room commenting, and people ask for help. That's the good thing about the Flesh Your Fat for Good Buddies Facebook room, is you can go in there any time of day, morning, noon, or night, and somebody will be in there to help answer your question. And people post their, can we have this? And they post the label and the product, and everybody joins in. But from time to time, those pictures come in, and people start to post their pictures.
Right.
And it's a very safe room. The room is safe where you can feel safe posting your personal pictures. You saw the one in the bathing suit, right? That takes a lot of guts to do that, and it's private, and those pictures will stay in that room. They don't circulate outside of that room. So it's unless that particular person wants to do that. But it's really amazing that we can get some incredible pictures. People are getting results, and it's so fun to see them, from time to time in the room.
This is a journey of a lifetime. When you go over that bridge of never wanting to struggle again, and you want to think better, you want to sleep better, you want better moods, You want to digest better.
You want to go through those results in here? You're just going
Am I
through the
saying
list.
them all?
Yeah, you're going through the list.
Okay, so what we want to do, actually, to let you all know, because summer reading, you know, I saw on, where did I see that? I saw it on Twitter, I think. Somebody was showing a beach where off to the side of where everybody is laying down,
Yeah.
they have shelves of books.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you go to Hawaii, if you've ever gone to Hawaii, they have a library, usually in the Four Seasons. They have libraries where, you know, down in the recreation room or whatever, off the lobby, and you can borrow a book and read the book for the beach, you know, or by the pool, whatever.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I
Yeah.
thought this is the book for the beach.
Yeah.
Because many of
is.
you don't really want to start this lifestyle right now, because if you have to get into a commitment that you don't want to struggle anymore, but you're saying, well, I just want to have fun this summer. You know, there's no need to eat bad to have a good time. But if you still want to do that and not think about starting something like this, that's fine. But get the book so that you can really get a handle on it. And when you're ready, like after the kids go back to school, or, you know, you start, September? It's like September.
End of August, September,
Yeah.
kids are going back to school. So, you know.
Excuse me. So what we were going to do is kind of go through a few things in the book, but then we were going through in the beginning of the book, the Roman numeral part of the book in the beginning. And
It's just the information, you know, introduction and the information we wanted to get to you, you know, to oversee what we're trying to do here.
right. So it's, I already had a paper here. Okay. So it's Roman numeral 29 when you get the book. And once you continue to go doing this lifestyle, these are the results to expect when you follow the Flush Your Fat for Good lifestyle. So we're going to go through that right now.
We thought we would just brush over these so you can have an idea of what you can expect. I mean,
Right.
It's incredible. Your body will return to having normal endocrine functions. That's
Hormones.
huge. You know, when you gain the weight, or you're not eating properly, you're eating too much sugar, too much starches, your pancreas has to secrete insulin. You have an insulin spike. So if that's a hormone, so if you have that hormone overworking or that gland overworking, it's going to throw off your endocrine system. And this has been known to endocrinologists. They've written books about this and studies.
So many people
Yeah.
don't know why they're depressed. So many people don't know
Yeah.
why they're cranky, or they have hormone issues.
You're right. And, you know, that it's terrible. And they don't feel good. Depression is also part of that, your hormonal issues.
Yeah.
And the next one is your production of insulin will be greatly reduced. Well, it's maintained at a level that's much lower, and it's constant because of the foods and the lifestyle that we recommend for you.
Well,
Go ahead. Next one.
water will be excreted rather than excessively stored. This is a big one
Yeah.
because, you know, it's when people swell in their legs or they're swollen in their bodies, sometimes they don't know it, but you can put your finger into the leg or down in the ankle, and it's called pitting. And when you push in the skin, you can see an indent there because there's swelling with fluids. They're retaining them.
Besides that, people that are retaining the fluids, you can see it. Their skin looks spongy. It's in the interstitial tissues. Their skin, you've seen people like that. Their skin looks spongy. It looks kind of thick and spongy. That's water. That's, you know, as you start to burn the fat and you start to release the water, you're going to see that start to go down and the skin get firmer to the muscles.
And it is a danger to the heart and the kidney. When
Very
you're
hard on the kidneys
when
and the
you're-
heart.
Yeah.
Very hard.
In fact,
And water is very heavy. It's a lot of weight, you know. So next one is our DOE. You will experience a DOE, which we call Day of Exhaustion. And you know, as I read through these, we have pretty much done podcasts. Our archived podcasts are pretty much on each one of these. We've covered almost all of these. But the Day of Exhaustion is when you're following the lifestyle, you're following the food recommendations, you've given up the sugar, you've given up your starch, and you're eating as we have, recommended, what happens is one day it comes along. It can be 3 days later. It can be 2 weeks later. You feel like you want to sit down and hold the couch up. You're just exhausted. Well, that is we call it day of exhaustion, and that's when your body will turn from burning your carbohydrates and your sugars that you've been eating for energy to your fat, to burning your fat for energy.
Right.
And we call it day of exhaustion.
You're entering into accelerated fat burning state.
Right. Oh, that's where you want to be. And you'll start to see after those days are over, could be 1, could be 2 days, your energy will just escalate.
Otherwise known as nutritional ketosis.
Right.
And the DOE, some people, such as Coach Jennifer always says, it was day of energy.
Right, that's true. DOE was day of energy for her.
Because she had over
and
100.
her sister. And
Really?
Kathleen.
She
Yeah.
had the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
But they had over 100 pounds to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, it's not about pounds, it's about inches. But when you get that heavy, when we're
Right.
dealing with globesity, which is obesity globally, it's not easy to be able to deal with inches when you are in the 400, 500, 600 pounds. So many times they're capable of having to get on a scale to let them know what's happening at that time. But having 100 pounds overweight, you can still do some inches.
Yes.
The fact is that they're so exhausted with carrying around so much fat, and it has taken a toll on everything in their body, that when they start to utilize the fat for energy instead of their food for energy,
Right.
that is their switch. Sometimes I'll get a phone call saying, what the heck's happening to me? I can't get off the couch. Then I said, this is time for us to cheer. What are you
Right.
talking about? This is time for us to be excited because your body just made the switch into accelerated fat burning state,
Right.
which is nutritional ketosis.
Now, I just want to mention real quick here, if you have 100 pounds to lose and you feel hopeless and you're listening to us and saying, yeah, right, you say all that, but, it seems like an impossible reality for you. We're here to tell you, just start. You're not going to be starving yourself. You will feel better. You'll feel a lot better. And we don't want you to feel hopeless. We want you to give it a good try. We'd like you to try it for at least 8 weeks. Get on this and do it to the T for 8 weeks and just start. Honest to God, you're going to start to feel uplifted with your energy. Something will happen to you when that, especially after DOE, and you'll feel something happening. So I want to encourage you. I know it's hopeless. Listen, I lived with my mother my whole life. She was more than 200 pounds overweight, okay? And I know that I could feel that feeling, and that feeling trickles down through the family. It's a hopeless feeling, but I'm telling you, all you have to do is start. And once you learn this, you carry it with you for life. You'll know these things that we're teaching you.
All right. So
Go ahead.
after your
Do the next
DOE,
one.
you enter into, like what we said, the accelerated fat burning state, which is nutritional ketosis. But your body will start to look shapelier and firmer.
You'll lose all that fluid. You'll start to burn fat. You'll start to gain muscle mass, and it'll be really
But
good.
people will start telling you.
Yeah, you'll
People will
to
start saying, hey, your face is looking different,
Yes.
because most
Like-
people lose from the top down
like the picture we showed.
with the gentleman.
Yeah, you could see it all left his face. He had I think that was in a short time too, like 2 weeks or something. Bone density as well as overall health will increase, and you'll see that over time. The bone density, yes, but just what I was saying. You're going to start to feel better. Swelling and inflammation in the joints will be reduced, because what we do with what we're recommending is decreasing your inflammation. The lifestyle for phase 1, the food plan that we have, decreases inflammation. And when you get the weight off, also, guess what? That weight's not on your joints. So your joints are going to feel better.
Right, but let me just say, because you're building lean muscle mass, and that's what holds up your skeletal structure.
Right.
So, when you are stressing, say, for example, you're walking, and what's something else you do that strengthens your bones? When you put...
run the vacuum.
which I do
Yard
regularly.
work.
Whatever you're doing.
Anything you're doing.
But whatever.
Picking up kids.
Yeah.
But
with the muscles that are helping you to hold up the skeletal structure, that's improving your bone density as well. Outside of the fact that you're now absorbing nutrients that build bone. So that part.
Listen to this one. You guys will like this. Women should expect to lose 10 to 12 pounds of fat per month. Men should expect to lose 12 to 15 pounds of fat per
It's
month.
adipose tissue.
Right.
When people say, oh, I lost 10 pounds of weight.
Right.
Well, on Flush Your Fat for Good, most likely you lost 12 pounds.
Right.
Because you're building your bone and muscle. But when other diets take place, you're losing about 50% of your bone and muscle. So with Flush Your Fat for Good, it's a trade-off. You're losing the fat, but you're building up your body.
Yeah. And, you could almost predict, if you follow this properly,
To a T.
and you're active in the Facebook room, you can get on our Power 100 Heroes calls on Wednesday nights. You ask questions and participate. You should have these. We can predict your weight loss. We have to use weight loss because how else can you feasibly measure it? You can do inches also. We have you do inches. I mean, it's about inches, not pounds, really, because fat weighs nothing.
Right.
A whole time, this whole area would probably be like 20 pounds of fat this high, So it's a lot of fat will take up the weight. But we can almost predict your weight loss. For example, this is August. If you wanted to get into a dress in New Year's.
September, October, November, December, you could lose a good 40 pounds.
As a woman. And men a little more because they're men. And they have thicker muscles.
And I'm working with a gentleman right now that has his daughter is getting married in January.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And what does he have to lose? 40 pounds.
There you go.
I said,
it should happen.
Bada bing, bada bang, babe.
And
All
then your visceral fat will decrease. And I just saw another autopsy show last night about Luther Vandross.
This is how we spend our evenings.
Luther
we
Vandross.
watch autopsies.
This guy, I forget his name, but he has a show about he does autopsies for
He's
to
a
really.
coroner. He's a coroner. Right?
He really finds out. He's done like 5,000, but he really finds out from celebrities. They give it to him to make sure that he covers all the bases as far as celebrities are important people. And Luther Vandross, he said last night, he says that visceral fat will strangle your breathing, strangle your heart.
Well,
So
you saw a 28-year-old that died, right?
A
It wasn't that
28
heavy, but the visceral fat suffocated his heart.
a young guy in his 30s, another Dr. G, another autopsy show.
That's what I'm
Medical
saying.
examiner.
This is how she spends her evenings.
Yeah. And the LA coroner's office, been there, done that. But he was at a family event, and he had a little bit of he looked about 25, 30 pounds overweight. Not bad. And he was a young guy, 30s. He dropped out of a heart attack. They were all playing Frisbee or volleyball and having a barbecue. And he just dropped dead. And she said it was from he had a ton of visceral fat.
This is fat that cannot be liposuctioned out.
No. So that's
So-
that will decrease. And sometimes you won't see it on the scale, but keep it going because it's coming off.
This is what I like. The likelihood of hip or knee replacement is reduced.
Correct. So oftentimes when we have our heroes, they're 100 pounds or close to or more to lose, and they're being recommended by their doctor to have a knee replacement because their knee's been bothering them bone to bone. What we recommend, or we suggest that they might want to do, which is feasible, is to ask their doctor if they can have 2 months, 2, 3, or 4 months to try to get some
Hold
weight
off
off.
the surgery,
We did
get
that
the
with
weight
your
off.
neighbor
Yeah.
for hip surgery. Let's see if I can follow this this eating program and see if I can lose the weight and see if my knee improves. Would that be all right? And ask your doctor if it would be feasible.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
So now the next one is my favorite. No more cravings.
Oh, that's huge.
Now this takes place in about 72 hours. So once you really get committed to this and say, by God, I'm going to learn how to feed myself appropriately.
Right.
I'm going to learn this lifestyle, this blueprint. I'm never going to be starving again. But what about these sugar cravings? What about these starch cravings? What about these salt cravings? What about all these cravings that I have that it's like, I don't stand a chance. It's Saturday night. It's party night. Let's go for it. In about 3 to 4 days, if you're doing this to a T, you start to shock yourself by saying, "Oh my God, I just went through the bakery section in Costco. I could care less."
We see it in the room all the time. Oh my gosh, this is what I had at House of Pancakes. This is what I ate. And it's like, wow.
All right, next
is digestive system will return to normal function, and I would say, feasibly 80 to 90% of the people out there walking on the streets, their digestive tract is not working.
The pits.
It's not functioning properly.
Right.
And those people are not pooping 3 to 4 times a day.
No.
The kids maybe.
It's not like they come up and introduce themselves. "Hi, I'm Joe Smith, and I don't go to the bathroom well." You don't know what people are going through in their life.
It's digestion is not working, absorption therefore is not working, and elimination therefore is not working.
But that,
properly.
with Flush Your Fat for Good,
It
by
will
the first
happen.
week, you're going to notice certain things are changing.
And here's the other thing, because of that, your sleep will improve. You will have better sleep, and the hormonal issue. You're going to have better sleep, and your blood, if your blood sugar is more level throughout the day and all through the night, you're not gonna
and
have
you're
problems
not
sleeping.
bloated.
No.
You don't feel that bloating. Now, you just mentioned sleep, which is greatly improved, but also, and we've heard this even from so many people, I can't even begin to tell you. Many people come out of a brain fog.
Suddenly, it's like somebody washed the windshield clean, and one day they just blink, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what's happening to me?"
It's a wake-up call. It's like, oh my God.
It's clarity. It's a time of clarity.
They see better, they're thinking better, and brain fog comes from many things, like Candida albicans, which is a yeast. Okay, if you're overweight, chances are you've got yeast issues.
We all have yeast in our bodies.
Right, but if it's
productive?
overgrown, it's going to affect your mucous membranes, and also goes up into the lungs and the brain.
Right.
But also, you're tired, your hormones are out of whack, you're not thinking straight. There's a lot going on with the brain fog.
What a terrible feeling that is, to have brain fog. You just feel like you're losing your mind. And we have a dear friend who's now she's one of our coaches. We have more than 100 coaches, but she's incredible. She's mastered phase 1. She's into phase 2, has been for 2 years now. And it was scary.
No, we thought she had dementia.
We thought she had the beginnings of
and
dementia.
she was young.
And so did she.
Yeah.
And so did her family.
They were all worried about her mental capacity
Yes.
and what she could retain, and
Yes.
her cognition and her ability to be sharp. And she wasn't old.
It was brain fog, and it was also, we're not sure what it was from, whether it was candida, overgrowth, or whether she wasn't getting the protein
and she was trying to do a vegan diet, which a lot of the vegans do not know how to do it appropriately.
Yeah.
So in our book, we show you how to do it right.
So we get that protein into you.
Now, because you will be carrying less weight on your body, you will have more energy.
Equals more energy.
Yeah. And it's likely you will no longer need a nap. We hear this all the time.
Oh, yeah. And, you don't come home from work and have to lay down and you can't get up.
That's the number one thing we hear.
That's the number one thing.
I hear this all the time.
And
I go, so how's it going? Because I always check back with these people.
Yes.
So how are you doing? Because I knew how they were doing.
Right.
And then they go, the one thing I noticed, I don't need a nap in the middle of the day. Now,
you don't get that fatigue, that dog tired feeling.
Like, I got to get down, man.
Right.
I got to go
Yeah.
down.
You know what that is? because your blood sugar, again, it's the blood sugar, and you're not doing insulin surges and drops.
Okay, you will have less foot pain or problems with your feet. Now, this is common sense, but how many people understand that you have so much weight on these little muscle bones in your feet?
Right.
The metatarsal, just the ankle. If you look at, just Google or go to an internet search, all the little bones in a foot, and then put about 100 pounds on that bone. Put about 40 pounds on those
tough.
bones.
And
even 20 pounds overweight.
My mother, because of her long-term obesity, morbid obesity, she ended up with arthritis in her feet so bad that we took x-rays of it, and I took it to, when I was an intern, took it to the clinic, and we studied her feet because no one had ever seen feet like that. But that's because she was about 200 pounds overweight.
So many people experience better lab values.
And those are your wheels, by the way. Your feet.
I know. Your teeth, your feet, and a good bed, man. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, so better lab values. We see this.
Yeah, we hear about this all
the time. And the doctors, dismiss the cardiologist, says, you know what, you don't have to come back here anymore. Come back in a year and I'll check you, but you're doing really good. We've heard that many times too.
But they say, the doctors are like, well, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it.
Exactly.
Because they didn't have a clue how to get their lab values better.
And the other thing you want to do is, we are not meant to be on, this is not against medical doctors or medicines, but we are not meant to be on medication. We're just not. I mean, in a real world, she's not on a medication. I'm not on any medication, and she's 95 and I'm 92.
Good. Yeah,
No,
but we're
just kidding.
swinging.
We're kidding.
Here's the thing.
But what I'm saying is, with Flush Your Fat for Good, you can start to get off your medications, with your doctor's help. Don't do it yourself, for crying out loud.
They will titrate you down, and they will see less medication is best. And if you can't get off your medication, at least less.
So be it.
And some medications, listen, the leading cause of death in 1900 was pneumonia. So, thank God for antibiotics.
Thank God for that.
If I break a leg, don't take me to the health food store.
We want you to be on minimal. The ideal world is to be on minimal
We want
medication.
your body to function appropriately.
And we're not living in the Fiji Islands. So, yes, we do have stress, and we do have toxins that weren't there, centuries ago. And we are stuck with what we've got, toxic world.
So your weight is going to cease to yo-yo. You're going to stay stable where your body is healthy and best because you're eating healthy and best. And after a while, wherever your body, you're not going to be in a plateau if you have excessive amount of fat and you have ceased on losing some fat at that time. It's only because the immune system prioritizes itself, and it's also adapting to the fat that was lost to shrink the body, get rid of some of the veins that were going into the fat. There's a lot of changes to take place.
The body will reabsorb unnecessary
and that takes a little bit of
capillaries and veins because that makes the heart work harder.
Okay, we have 3 more. Your mood and self-esteem are likely to improve and regulate. This is really important because we hear from people from time to time saying, I was told that I wasn't a very nice person. I was told that I was hard to get along with, or I was grumpy, or I had attitude problems or mood fluctuations. Homeostasis is about balance. Homeostasis is balance. So if your body is balanced and healthy, so is your mood. It's healthy body, healthy mind. What's the next one?
Hormones. We talked about that. The hormones will balance out. That is a dream come true.
That's
and
essential.
Over time, that's really going to get better and better and better.
Yeah, and you will likely become both a happier and nicer person.
Stop it. No.
Shut up. Anyway, here's the book. We want you to get the book and learn as much as you can. buy the book and sit on the beach around the pool, or when the kids are gone, out hanging out, whatever. This is easy to read.
And we go through the 8 pillars in here. You can really go through the table of contents and see what you want to look at. Like the staples. You can go see the crayon flesh. What the heck's that? Goat yogurt. There's a area in the table of contents on goat yogurt. You can check it out and read about it, and it's really fun to read because we wanted to try to make it like a story so you'll absorb it. If it's like a textbook and it's brutal to read, then you're not going to remember.
Well, it's also Kathleen Powell that helped us to put this format together and get our content in it. She wanted to help us to write this book so that she would enjoy reading it, because we're the nerds.
She has no
medical
expertise. She's not a medical person,
right? Or a nutritional person.
Right.
She just worked the plan, and it worked for her.
So,
but Dr. Vicki and I can get deep in the weeds with being a nerd, which I really like. I'll take it to the nth degree. But with Kathleen,
tell me about it.
She I dig it, man. But she wanted to have a book so that she could enjoy it, so she could read it, so she could understand it. We don't want to talk to you about your endoplasmic reticulum and your Golgi. But what we wanted to do was explain to every average, normal person about wanting to tell you the truth, we have medical people and science people. When you actually see who's endorsed our book, they were educated.
They loved it.
And doctors, they practice medicine. They're taught how to, and we need medicine, but they take voluntary classes about nutrition. And at the most, I think they have about an hour or two about nutrition. So this book was very informative to some of our medical people.
Yes, I think it's a very good book. I mean, I've read it probably 5 times as we were editing and everything. And every time I started reading it again, I went, this is pretty good.
No, it's good stuff. It's
good
really,
stuff.
really good
and
stuff.
You can read it over and over and over again and get more and more and more stuff.
So getting the book is one thing. And again, you can get this on Amazon.com, or you can get it at our
BlessYourFatForGood.com.
Right, our website. But also, become a VIP member so that you can watch the videos. You don't have to do it for months on end, But if you're really into it and you want to learn the lifestyle, we're there teaching you about the foods, how to cook them, and also being interviewed as to how this came about, why. And our pillars, we have 8 pillars. Also, in the storefront, you'll be able to see that we have a workbook and we have some other charts. We have our GLA and CLA. These are essential fatty acids that we definitely wanted you all to be on.
Right.
The benefits that they do for your body, for not only safe, rapid fat loss, but there's other things that they really benefit your body with.
Yeah.
And you can just do internet search on that if you'd like. But what we did was we found the
potent ones.
Yeah,
most potent.
And we got with a good company that was able to give us the quality and standard that we wanted. Okay, because we're taking them. We want the best.
We didn't want anything from, that was cheap from China that we couldn't trust either.
Exactly. So then you can also go into the product section, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see our starter kits. We wanted this to be an easy pick for you guys. So you can do starter kit 1, which involves all the charts, the workbook, the book, and the CLA, GLA. You can do starter kit 2, where you can have everything except for the book. And then you can do starter kit 3, which has all the charts in the workbook, but no CLA, GLA. So you can pick and choose what you want. We also have a coaching course, not just for coaches. We should probably rename that thing. It's called a coaching course. But if you want to coach others, if you're in the health and wellness industry and you want to be you want to get a certification.
No, I think anybody that goes through that could be called a coach.
No, they will be called a coach, but what if they just want to coach their husbands?
Well,
or coach their their friends.
You become more expertise in this. So
you become,
and the material in there is you'll not find it anywhere, really.
No,
it's good stuff. It's pearls.
You're not going to find it all in one place.
You'll not see that. It's from clinical experience and pearls.
It's 7 modules. Right. There's a test after each one, and at the very end you get a certificate.
Yeah.
And you have 3 months to take it. So
Correct.
it's very cool. You can stop and start. You can take notes. And the bottom line is you'll know more than anybody you meet unless they took the course
Well,
too.
and you'll be able to take control of your life because
Right.
with our lifestyle or just with the knowledge that you get from it, you know.
Yeah.
We hope you would stay on the lifestyle after that and after the book and the coaching course.
Well, if you don't, then you're just masochistic. But there is a great thing. We have one more minute here, but this is my favorite thing. This is in the storefront room, the store on the website, and this is a shopping list. I mean, this is so cool. It's a pad,
both sides.
both sides.
And you just check it off.
Yeah, you put it
What you
on your
need.
refrigerator. You've read the book, and it's in the book. It shows you how to get started, but in the workbook, it shows you right away. Get started now. You don't have to wait till you get your supplements. You don't have to wait till you've gotten all the food. But you need to go through your kitchen, and you need to look in your pantry, and anything that has sugar, artificial sweeteners, partially hydrogenated oils, fat, bad fats, starches, things like this.
Anything with sugar in it.
Just get rid of
Gone.
it and get a mindset
Right.
that from now on you are going to be as healthy as you can be. Okay?
And we're here to help you. And request to join the Facebook room, and we'll be happy to get you in there.
Right. So thank you for joining us, and until next week, God bless.
Good night.
You're listening to Flush Your Fat for Good with Jackie and Dr. Vicky, only on LA Talk Radio.